32, right. It was the last 32 as well, so both players were embedded into the tournament. White coming through 4-2. Arguably, in terms of...
edgy. I mean, the last frame was a bit of a fall over the line job, but the fact is he got the job done. Trump was disappointing. I'm sure you'll remember that match last season, because he was heavy favourite to win it. But anyway, in this group.
Overall, head-to-head wise, White trails Trump 4-1.
Oh, that was so well cued. The control, practicing every day since he lost at the Crucible. Why would he? But he looks sharp today so far. We've seen in this tournament the really great players, the likes of it. Doesn't seem to take long for them to find something. They've both played really well to win their groups.
Nine.
And Trump has always supported the tournament he likes playing in. It's a good way to tune up. And it's an opportunity, of course, to win a ranking title. And speaking of which, win 2 tickets to the day Judd Trump plays at the Champion of Champions in Bolton in November. What was his first ranking title? So what was Judd Trump's first ranking? That's at CL Snooker. And we will reveal the winner and the answer this evening. It's another tournament he likes, isn't it? The Champion of Champions made a maximum in the final last year against Ronnie O'Sullivan, albeit in a losing cause.
Yes, and during the previous match, qualifying schedule for the Champion of Champions.
31.
The qualifier to play as the World Seniors Champion. He's not guaranteed yet.
No, of course, there's some of the big tournaments, so he'll be there.
$39.
For a number of years, Dave,
55.
there weren't 16 winners. One of the reasons, the likes of Judd Trump winning multiple tournaments. Well, this time, maybe a few of them will miss out.
Yes, I mean, when Trump was winning all those tournaments every season, of course, they keep doing that. I think last season, overall, would have been a disappointment for him, even though he did win the Masters, which is a huge tournament. Sort of dipped a little after that. He could have won the World Grand Prix the following week, probably should have done. But then the results were hard to come by, and of course he did lose first round at the Crucible, where this season he started number 4 in the world.
61.
Now then, which would be potentially expensive. That's why he played it slowly, and ultimately that's why he's out of position.
Classic losing to Jimmy White. He's not going to take any liberties here, Trump. Yeah, there was value in the double, the way he played it.
57.
So it's surely 1-0 to him. That's exactly what he's done. So he's looking good here already in this group.
Match a little earlier, but in terms of its compilation, I think this break has been a little better. Excellent.
Surely not. Well, it seems I've knocked a colour in or something, but on a day like today when he's playing well, that red, it glanced off the brown and went in the corner. But he has missed the brown, so the break ends.
75.
Swift 75 from Judd Trump. Jimmy White, different eras. I think sometimes, and I think we saw this back half of last season, you just do well for Trump, but if you just start getting a couple of disappointing mistakes, you're not quite in the right frame of mind. He had a very tough draw at the Crucible against McGill, probably the toughest he could have had really in round 1. Of course, was beaten.
think that's what they term a good... You know, Dave, I came in very early into the arena this morning. Got some stuff to write for Snooker Scene magazine. And in order to get to our work position, you have to walk right past the practice tables. It was maybe 25 past 9.
Dedication he has. But I did feel in that first match, he was almost like he was too excited to be playing again. He seemed a bit anxious, and maybe that contributed to the errors. Maybe now
and he was under the impression he was in. I think he probably will be, but he needs...
win a championship, you know, they could win it. Now, he has forced the error. It's just a question now what he has to go at. A lot of reds are covering one another. Taking this on, I think, to the green pocket. Yeah, he was sort of forced into that, and again, Trump's had a bit of running, really, to leave White.
One.
Really, he's wonderful to watch. He's got star quality, and he plays the game in a very attractive manner.
8.
He is rather unorthodox. He sights the ball, and I think he's dependent on coordination and confidence. Maybe that wasn't there last season. As confidence can go, it can just as quickly come back.
Yeah, I mean, he played really well last season, but obviously no crowds here. Maybe the minute his confidence sort of suffered, and the fact that, you know, he's expected to end, the fact it wasn't quite working maybe contributed to how he was feeling. It did look at one stage like, I mean, he became world number 1 and was world champion, of course, like he had sort of conquered all, but the old guy just refused to go anywhere. I mean, just last year, 2022, Trump got to the semis again at the Crucible, and so by now he may have expected to have seen them off, but they're still there. Alongside the likes of Luca Brissell and Mark Selby and the challengers to the major titles.
As well. Now, this is quite tricky. Easy to hit the far jaw here. Oh, well played. Well played indeed. One thing I think that's very much in Trump's favour, pass on tables. As you say, in the invitation version of the Championship League. Now he's here with ranking points at stake, also played on these tables.
54.
They're very responsive, very quick to the ground.
Yeah. And for a first day back, this is impressive stuff. The safety that looked like it might let Jimmy White in the end, he wasn't left with anything easy at all.
61.
Quiet.
$68.
Only one at the moment. We'll have to cut this black in.
And loss of this frame basically means that
75.
Jimmy White's...
$76. $70. $80.
The race is on to a fair. It's a three-way race between John Higgins, Neil Robertson and Judd Trump. He's made 902. Robertson just a few 40, so he's the favourite, but we'll see who gets there.
88.
Well, a few more tournaments this season. Fire, he could find the extra 98 in this campaign. It's an outside chance, but not impossible.
Done it before, hasn't he? Here, he needs a trick shot. Not quite, but 95 is a frame-winning break, and Judd Trump firmly on top here, leading Jimmy White by 2 frames to 0. Match on table 2 against Andy Lee. The first was a 2-2 draw between Joe Perry and Stuart Carrington, so Perry against Lee will be the final match. I'm sure we will see plenty of that later. Change here. Well, that could have been a lot worse. He flicked the red, but he sent the cue ball back to Bulk. Will raise his group at the Champion of Champions. The tournament is the 13th to the 19th of November. Oh, he's had a touch here, by the way. He's had a touch. Seems a little bit blessed today. Anyway, the 3 ranking titles, which was the first of them? So what was his first ranking title success? Send the answer to the official
in the Champion of Champions. We don't know when that will be, but we do know it's either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday of the week. Up in Bolton. Could be logistically difficult for the organisers because the International Championship well, that's more like it. And then again, White is getting his bad. Mind you, it is day 13 of the Bet Victor Championship League. I'll tell you, this, when you play them slowly, has a tendency to go uphill. And from White's expression, I think the pink did.
Well, this time he's not been punished. Sue Silson and Ricky Walden on Friday, and then next week we're into stage 2, winners week. All the group winners come back.
Granite comes to mind.
Yeah, it's a bit of an ordeal this today. Jimmy White not getting the little...
Jimmy White, 7.
Did his best 30 years ago. He was maybe accused of being a bit casual about the big occasions.
1.
Now, even in a match, you know, builds them up so much, and maybe that's just putting him on edge a little bit.
Tell you what, Dave, there was some edgy snooker here yesterday.
Well, I was delighted by Holty. Obviously coming in late, Ronnie O'Sullivan withdrawing.
Well, it was Eric Scott Donaldson. Then he lost to Rod Lawler, and he genuinely thought he'd blown his chance. He got a face like thunder when I saw him backstage. Came out against Aldo off the table that reeked of frustration. But Burden missed the yellow in the opening frame. Holt cleared up, and then Michael dominated the third. And that was good enough.
That was a nice little cluster to go into. You know, Judd Trump wants the balls
17.
out in the open early on. He doesn't want to be picking them off. Injuries he's made, over 900. Because one thing's for sure, whether he's the second, he'll certainly be the youngest. Perhaps for some time.
24.
Just a question then of whether he can now complete victory at this visit. We'll have a long wait then until the last matching on how the matches are beforehand.
Yesterday, Nopon Sankar won his first 2 matches, looked good in doing so. The weight that Dave has just described. What followed was
39.
high drama. The last 3 frames of that match were all decided on the black. Davis was 1-0 down, cleared up twice to go, but in the end, the fourth frame fell to Sankar by the narrowest possible margin.
47.
.46 in front, as the first match was against Ryan Evans. And it's going to be
55.
over to Jusa tonight to stop this man. Pink then for the perfect start. 2-3-0s for Judd Trump from the table, but he's very dedicated, of course, in the prime of his career to more success
62.
away. William Bell here is barely broken sweat. It's been very quick.
70.
The penultimate red to make the century, but this looks a better chance.
.78.
And being Trump's well aware that a big century here could be very valuable indeed. Let's just extrapolate. Zhu Sir were to beat Ryan Evans 3-0 also, they'd be entirely level.
86.
But if Trump has already a very high bar, then a draw, more than likely, against Zhu Sir would be enough.
90. .95.
Yeah, he's not looking at all well, and for the second match in succession, he's surely going to win the
98.
clinching frame with a century. Good stuff here from Judd
107.
Trump, so reverses the in Leicester at the WST Classic a few months back.
107.
Pretty miserable session for Jimmy White,
113.
losing all 6 frames. It's the opposite for Trump, who has completed his second 6 to complete it. So Judd Trump, clearly the man to beat in this group. He's got a break, of